Hello everyone, I'm Symes, and in this series we're going to take a look at and have a bit of a chat about Dwarf Fortress. With me is my good friend Robin. Hi Robin.
Hello.
Robin hasn't played Dwarf Fortress before, is that correct?
I have not. No, I know it's about dwarves, and they're probably in some kind of fortress.
Well, that's good. That's
Beyond that,
a good summation there. Alright, so I'm going to call this one Episode 0 because it's about setting up for playing rather than playing specifically, and Episode 1 will start when we actually start with building the fortress and all the stuff that can happen there. So,
fine by me.
cool. This is the Mac version. It's largely the same as the PC version. There's a bunch of ways to get it. If you do a search if you're on Windows, if you do a search on the internet for Lazy Noob Pack, that should get you the Windows pack with a bunch of tools and the game in it. And what I'm using is Mac Newbie, which is essentially the same thing but for the Mac. And I'll throw some links to those into the video description. So, here we are, staring at the menu.
Yep, it's a menu.
The first thing to do is the one that's handily highlighted at the top, which is Create New World with an exclamation mark.
So there's no point going for any of the crazy parameters. He just dives right in.
Yeah, no, this one, the second one, is very scary.
Okay,
So
let's not be scary.
This one has a small number of parameters, and they're relatively easy to understand. So
Okay,
we'll go with that. I will press this button.
right, not customizing beard length or anything like that.
No, you don't get to do that anyway, sadly.
Oh,
Here's your
I sense a flaw.
warning: this game may crash screen. That's fine. Here's your
I
world.
like that. It's honesty.
Yeah. Here's your world
Unfortunately, this is
creation
bugs.
parameters. So, world size is fairly self-explanatory. The game pre-generates history before you start. So if we leave that on medium, because that obviously affects how long it takes to generate the world as well.
Okay,
Number of civilizations, fine. I like turning the number of sites down a little bit. Otherwise, the world just gets really crowded with existing cities.
okay.
And to start off, to make things a bit less really difficult, we'll turn down the number of beasts and the amount of savagery.
Savagery is that like how often they're going to go and try and kick your ass.
It's it's wild animals and wolves and tigers and whatever coming to kill you. So turn it down a little bit. And mineral occurrence to frequent.
Okay.
So we can get more minerals, and and then you press the Y button, and it starts generating the world.
Drum
Like
roll.
this.
Right.
The world says it's called Smata Zamlox, the realm of typhoons.
Catchy.
So right,
There's that little X where we want to settle, I guess.
this is we can just scroll around and look at the world at this point.
Okay.
So because there's a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll kind of do that more when we come to the next bit, which is actually about choosing an embarkation site. So we'll just accept this world.
Alright, so mate, we're just saying, yeah, that looks good. We can
Yeah,
live
it's a world. It's fine. Whatever.
Mm.
So it's now saving all of the still active creatures and so on.
there. Is it like NetHack in that, you get one save?
You can only have one active fortress in a world at a time.
No, I mean, like, saving it? I mean, they obviously don't expect you to do this all in one session.
Oh no, yeah. There's no. There are not multiple saves per fortress. You just save and exit.
Yeah, so NetHack-wise, yeah.
Yes.
No more bugger my dwarfs died, I'm going back when he was alive.
Alright, so now we're back at the menu, but we've got a new option, which says Start Playing.
Tempting, very tempting.
Let's mash that one. And this is where you get the choice of modes to play in. And Legends mode is the one where you look at all of the history of your world.
Alright.
And Adventurer mode is something that I've never played, but it's kind of more of a net hack version of the thing. You go exploring through the world and fighting monsters and stuff.
Oh, so you give you like a dwarf and you throw into there and off you go.
I think so. I've never actually played it, but this Dwarf Fortress mode is the meat of the thing.
Yep.
So let's go and kick that off. Wait for it to switch over. Here's our world.
Hooray!
We've got a local map on the left, a regional map in the middle, and a world map on the right. So, and the flashing X is where the cursor is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can see the local maps just completely shifts, because the local map is what's under the X on the regional map. Mm-hmm. And the regional map is the area surrounding the X on the world map. So, but because the world's quite big, as you can see, because you can scroll around a lot, there's also a search function for finding the kind of site that you want.
Okay.
So we'll press F for find desired location.
Yep.
And you get to choose all kinds of stuff, like how savage or evil the location is. These I tend to just leave alone, and then when you get the selections, you just avoid the ones you don't want too much. But flux-stone is quite important because you need that for ironworking. Aquifers, ideally, you don't want because they are an infinite supply of water, which is great, but also they're an infinite supply of water, which means they can flood your fortress really, really easily. So,
drowning dwarves.
Avoid the aquifers if you can, unless you want to try that. But rivers are good because you do need some water.
Yep.
And we want multiple metals at all depths if we can get them. And so we'll do a search. It will comb the world for suitable embarkation sites. So you can see on the right, the thing on the rightmost with the text is telling you what's underneath the square in the local map.
What's the brook? Is that like your local bit of water?
Yes.
So it's all randomly named.
So yes. So you can see in the local map here, I've got a little square. This is the actual area which will be covered by the game map once we're in the fortress.
Oh, right, yeah. So you're basically choosing where the
4x4 square.
it all happens.
And what's on the right is telling you what's happening underneath that green 4x4 square.
Yep. So is it worth going on, for instance, there's a little island there. Would it be safer on the island so horrible beasties don't wander on?
Potentially, but there are beasties that can fly.
The cads.
And also, being a long way from civilization also makes it more difficult for civilization to reach you in the form of trade caravans and such.
Ah.
So, but that's got shallow metals, deep metals, and flux-stone, so that's pretty good.
Yep.
Let's scroll around somewhere. It's a little bit warm, but it's not too bad. Temperature is also important. If it gets too hot, obviously stuff evaporates when it's out in the air, and that can be bad. And if it's much too hot, then people will melt, and you don't want that. That's not a good thing.
Oh, so there's quite a lot of environmental physics going on.
Yes, and weather and stuff as well. So we got here. These are okay. We kind of want some trees because you need to chop them down and make things
We need some
out
trees
of them.
so we can destroy them.
So we can chop them down and make things out of them.
What's that little dwarf or little statue type thing there?
That's a city.
All right, okay.
It's there's another civilization there.
So that's helpful.
There might be dwarves there. I'm not sure. I think that's the sign for dwarves is the little statue there.
Yeah. Are there many intelligent races that make cities?
Yes. If I start pressing tab to switch through the display mode, we can see that go over there. We've got possibility of there being dwarfs, humans, goblins, or elves around the place.
Yep.
Goblins are slightly hostile by default. As there's a little red dash there, which indicates probably that you can't be friends with them ever.
But we only wanted to be friends.
And you can look here and see, this is the various different dwarf civilizations in the world, and the highlight one is the one that you will be from if you embark at the current location.
Okay, yep.
So if we flick back to
Browsy mode.
Ooh, this area is called the Steps of Disembowelment.
That sounds pleasant.
It sounds delightful.
In the Fissure of Harmonies.
In the Fissure of Harmonies is there. It's unfortunately it's hot.
Yeah.
Don't really want it too hot, I don't think.
Yeah, no hot disembowelment for us.
No, avoid hot disembowelment where possible.
Yep.
Good advice for life generally, I feel.
Yeah.
Let's see, this one might be good. Got some trees, it's temperate, there's a brook, got shallow metals, deep metals, and flux stone.
There's a city not that far away.
Yes, there's a dwarven city a little way away.
So, potential trading.
Looks alright. Let's look at the biomes that are here. There's this biome, which is almost all of our potential map, which has got shallow metals, deep metals, and flux stone in it. And then there's this biome, which has shallow metal and deep metals, and also trees. I like this one. There may not be any sand, so no glass forging, but we can get by without it. Yeah, that looks alright. Got some trees, it's temperate, we've got metals, got flux stone, so if there's any iron there we can actually work it. Yeah, this looks good. Let's embark here. I will press E for embark. Ooh, this is your only warning. Yes, still want to embark. The packs that you get come with embarkation profiles, one of which I am going to use. Preparation for the journey carefully is you allocate points to skills and items, but the embarkation profiles have just done that already, so we'll choose one of those. Arbitrarily, I will choose this one, which is from a video tutorial series here on YouTube. It says Embark preparations were not completed, which is fine. But I'll quickly go through this. Here are your dwarves. All 7 of them.
What? Yep, 7 dwarf, of course.
Of course, 7
Yep.
dwarves to set off. And you can give them skills, and there's a points total in the bottom right. And you spend those points on both the skills for your dwarves and the stuff you take with you. It's a single pool of points. And quite briefly, what you start off with is you have 2 people who are proficient miners.
Yep.
Which is very important. You've got a guy who's a mechanic, this guy's a mason and a stonecrafter. This guy can do a bunch of stuff. He can cut and set gems, he's a butcher and a tanner, he's a carpenter. And down here we have a brewer and a cook and a grower, so he's good, he's your farmer. This guy is a woodcutter. This guy is a hunter. So that's a pretty good spread of skills to get going in the beginning when you need to gather food quickly. So that's fine. If we tab over to the items, then the list on the left is the list of items that we are currently taking with us. 2 copper picks, an iron anvil, a crossbow, a quiver, some bolts, and a whole bunch of stuff. Some booze, very important. And some sand. And the useful thing about sand is not just that it's sand and you can make glass with it, but if you have one of each different type of sand, then that comes with a bag. Whereas if you have all the same type of sand, then it fits more than one into a single bag. So if you had 4 white sand, that would be in one bag, whereas one of each colour sand you get 4 bags for the same price.
That's real penny pinching.
Yep, that's the kind of thing you need to do. So, but there was a problem with the embarkation, so let's find out. No yellow sand available, no fish available, no cave lobster available.
Oh,
Okay.
What are we going to eat? How are we going to make lobster thermidor?
So, what we'll do, my display book, that is we need to add a new thing with N. I will type in lobster. There's cave lobster there. I've added some cave lobster. That'll sort that problem out. We'll add a few more cave lobsters.
Is that a gender they've got there for the cave?
That's a female cave lobster, yes. As you can see, all of the animals that you can take with you have
So
genders.
you can basically,
so you
make
can have
a
breeding
fortress
pairs.
and fill it full of a giant zoo.
Big zoo. If you are lucky enough to capture a breeding pair of creatures, then you can potentially breed them. But if they're like dragons, that can be quite difficult. And even tame dragons are quite dangerous. Like if you have the dragon in the fortress and he's guarding it and something comes in and he tries to burn it to death, that's not really very good for anybody else in the room. So we've got no yellow sand, but whatever.
Oh, fantastic. Alpacas and llamas.
Yep, yep.
That's a lot of different types of milk.
Yes.
And yak milk as well.
Yes, all the milk, and for the same reason as taking all the sand, each one of these comes with its own barrel.
Okay.
So you get a bunch of barrels available at the beginning as well.
No dog's milk, though.
No, because who would have that? I mean, really. Okay, there's only a couple of things left to do. One is to pick a name for the fortress by pressing F, capital F, and the current one is called Tishiskog, Spiral Boots.
Okay, that's surreal.
It is a bit weird. We can press R to pick a random name a few times. Yeah. Let's see. Grotto Roughness.
What's the top bit then? It's got two names.
Yes, the first one is the name in Dwarfish.
Ah, right. And the second name is
And
what it means to us.
Is the English translation, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
And rather than choosing a random one, you can pick a whole bunch of stuff from these lists.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had one called Muffin Thunder, which was a great name, I thought, for a fortress.
Mm.
Stone Mirrors? Screw it.
Fine by me. Yep.
Lamonul Stone Mirrors. So that's where we're going. And we can also name our little group as well. But it's called the Merged Standards at the moment, which I think is fine.
Yep.
That's a good name. Okay, we've got some points left. So let's put some of them into booze.
More lobsters.
You want more lobsters? Alright, more lobsters.
We should breed lobsters.
Lobsters. You want to male lobsters as well?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never tried breeding lobsters before, so it'll be a new experience for us. There is actually, yeah, they are male cave lobsters too.
Excellent.
So we'll see. They might all get made into biscuits before they get a chance to breed, but we'll see.
We can hope.
Let's add another bucket. Those buckets are important. And another pick, which will use up almost all of our points anyway. All right.
Wow, that's expensive.
Yep.
You got 1 point.
Okay.
Alpaca milk.
Or alpaca's milk. All right, fine. As it's you.
I'm thinking ahead here.
2 alpaca's milk. Okay. So now we are ready to embark.
Mm-hmm.
Press the E button. We'll wait a few seconds, and then we'll get to the embarkation screen.
I'm quite impressed with this. I had a bash at doing a family-based system for history, and this is just sort of like looked at that and laughed.
Yes.
Which is why the history option it intrigues me.
There's quite a lot going on. Okay. This is where we're going to end episode 0. We're about to kick off on the embarkation at Stone Mirrors, and so we will come back for episode 1 and continue from there. So thanks for watching.